Hey guys, so you're looking for the channel that covers all things photography? You're in the right place. Hit the subscribe button now. Hey guys, so I'm Jade Holding. This is Photo Factor. Welcome. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can potentially gain more engagement on Instagram simply by choosing the correct aspect ratio when you save your images and making use of the recommended image dimensions that Instagram provide. So just before we get started, I just want to share with you some useful Instagram stats. And the most surprising one is that a square format image gets the most engagement on Instagram. And I've just made a little video here quickly that I want to share with you, which I think will explain to you or help you understand why that might be. And so you open up your Instagram here, you choose a file that you want to upload, and once you've chosen, you'll see it defaults to a square format. And I think from here, most people just go on to click next and move on to the next whatever. But you see, if you use your pinch zoom in and out, you can choose a format that you prefer, and if you zoom all the way out, you'll see the full vertical format. And this brings me on to the second most bit of interesting information from Instagram stats, is that vertical or portrait orientated images get the second most engagement, far more so than a horizontal or landscape format. And the reason for that being is because of the way Instagram is set up on most, or rather on all phone devices, is that the images, the app is a vertically orientated app. And so when the images appear on your phone, when they're in vertical format, it takes up most of the screen and therefore becomes more eye-catching. And so this is just worth bearing in mind, right? If you have horizontal images that do lend themselves to a vertical crop, you might want to do that. Remember, your aim, I would imagine, is to promote yourself more so than any one particular image that you upload to Instagram. So as long as you're getting more engagement, you are achieving that objective. So now going into Photoshop and just bearing in mind the dimensions that I'm going to share with you here, you can save your images in any photo editing software using these dimensions. I'm just going to illustrate it using Photoshop. And so I've got two images already open here, the one being in a vertical format and the other one being in a horizontal format. And so if we go over here, if you choose the crop tool, C being the keyboard shortcut to select that tool, and you go to the tool options here at the top, you'll see the first box here is ratio. And if you scroll down to 4:5, it automatically defaults to the aspect ratio that Instagram makes use of. So let's just escape here. Let's go to the vertical format image and try that again, right? So we go to crop, and you'll notice did you see that? That's the full image as it appears out of camera. If I go to crop tool, 4:5 is selected, and you'll see how much off the top and bottom gets cropped off. And this is just useful to know. And so then the dimensions that we want to put in for vertical or portrait image is 1080 pixels by 1350 pixels. And you hit enter. And once you're happy with that, you move on. Let's illustrate the same thing with the horizontal. The image dimensions recommended by Instagram for a horizontal image would be, we've already got, we want to clear this aspect ratio. And the recommended for a horizontal would be 1080 by 608. And notice here how much of the top and bottom also gets cropped off on a horizontal image. Remember, these are the dimensions that Instagram recommends. Once we're happy with that, we click enter. And if you watched my previous tutorial, you would know now that a PNG is a preferred file type for the internet when uploading to the internet, as opposed to a JPEG. If you haven't checked it out, it's worth doing so. But so now that we've got the image to the right dimensions and aspect ratio, we go down to File, we go to Export, and we go to Export As, and we select here not JPEG, but PNG, and we just re-put in those values. Remember, we're on the horizontal here, and so that would be 1080 by 608. Remember, we already cropped it, so when we punch in the width dimension, it already constrains to the recommended 608. And we want to convert to sRGB because that is the color space of the internet. And once we're happy with that, we'll click Export All and give the image a title name and save it as wherever we want to be saving it. Right, I'm going to click on Cancel because I've already done all that. And the same applies for the vertical, right? So we've got the right aspect ratio. We go to File, Export As, and everything remains the same here. We choose PNG, not JPEG. We go to Width, and we type in 1080, and the height becomes 1350 as per the dimensions I gave you early on. And same story, make sure it's converted to sRGB, resample to preserve details, and then export all, and again save where you want it to save it to. I've already done that, so I'm going to hit cancel. And so I'm going to just bring up those image dimensions for a few moments here on screen. I recommend you get yourself a pen or pencil and just jot down these image sizes for future reference, or perhaps just take a screenshot quickly and keep it somewhere that you can remember this bit of information. If you found this tutorial useful, please do give us a thumbs up, and if you have not already done so, subscribe and you'll stay plugged into way more tutorials coming up in the future. Until then, have a great day and stay cool.